audio rolling. Take one.
The year is 2025, and somehow Netflix, the biggest streaming platform in the world, still can't seem to make good shows. At least, that's what it seems like in recent times. There's always going to be another season of Stranger Things on the horizon, Black Mirror being one of their more popular originals, and don't even get me started on the animes. The amount of Netflix exclusives that exist haven't been able to keep up with their promise and the whimsy that was brought throughout the entire runtime of the show, pretty much, and making something that used to be good kind of shit towards the end, which makes this film I'm talking about today all that more special because I'm talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. Released on July 20th, 2025, with the runtime coming out to 100 minutes, including credits, K-pop Demon Hunters is the most recent Netflix exclusive that's taken over the internet. The production company is Sony Pictures, the same company behind both Spider-Verse movies and many of your favorite childhood films like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs or The Emoji Movie. It's also directed by Maggie Kane and Chris Applehands, the latter of which being an artist and designer for many bangers like Fantastic Mr. Fox, and the other having this film be one of their 2 writing credits on IMDb, as well as being an artist on other bangers like Trolls and Shrek Forever After. So you may be wondering, what's this film about anyway? I was thinking the same thing, so I sat down and watched it 3 times to figure out. Once to see if I liked it, just a general overview, blank watch. Once where I watched it on a projector in an esports space.
So I haven't actually been watching the movie. I've been instead watching.
I've been watching JoJo's the entire time. I've just been writing Kira Death Note in my phone the entire time. And lastly, to get B-roll for this video. And here are my thoughts on it. We're thrown into the world with immediate exposition on how there's a group of 3 women who defeat demons to seal the Hanmoon away from a big wall demon named Guima, keeping demons where they are and protecting society. That brings us to our main cast, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, 3 K-pop stars in the group Huntrix that are also the protectors of the Hanmoon in this generation. And that's where our conflict of the story begins.
Oh, I sure do love being both a K-pop being a K-pop star and a demon hunter, but I can't let my closest friends know that I'm most likely the child of a demon-human relationship. But surely all demons are permanently banished and these marks from that relationship will go away.
Yo, what's up, Wall God? It's me, Genu, and I need to be important to the story, so here's my idea. We make a boy band. That will work, bro. Look at all the demons laughing at you. Oh yeah? Well, watch this. JoJo pose! Why did you do that? Oh, my bad. Boy band pose! Holy shit, this might just work.
Okay, all we need to do is release this song and hopefully seal the Hanmoon forever. Oh my god, is that a hot guy who's also kind of a dick? Hopefully that won't come to bite me later.
Oh, that was a person I just bumped into. Oh well, time to go perform magic to the catchiest song on the soundtrack.
Oh shit, the hot guy was a demon. Oh well, let's not worry about it since the song is catchy.
A few moments later.
Okay, so this cat that knocked over my plant and bird are obviously demon spawns, but they handed me this note to meet someone, so this surely can't go wrong. Oh, it's that hot guy from before who I already know is a demon.
Abandon your friends because I'm hot.
Okay,
so like an hour of this happens and then we get to the climax. There's really, it's a very simple story.
So I betrayed my closest friends for some demon guy who I already knew was bad and betrayed his family before becoming a demon. So I'm gonna interrupt their performance, showing that they're obviously demons, and reunite my friends to take them down along with the wall god that I've only met for the first time. And boom, hot springs to end the movie and not address the fact that millions are probably dead.
So that's pretty much the plot of the movie, and aside from me trying to make it comedic, it's honestly kind of a heartfelt story. A story about coming to terms with their flaws and accepting who they are as a person. Throughout the film, Rumi hides her demon marks from her closest friends, Mira and Zoe, who would probably be the most accepting of her with those flaws. She instead believes Genu, who ended up deceiving her throughout the entire film, but comes back around and saves her from Guima's Miku Miku beam, and even though he ends up dying, gives her the strength to fight the wall god off and reseal the Hanmoon. There's a theory about this real quick that I'm just gonna go over that I think could happen is that Genu regained his soul after selling it to Guima, and then his soul merged with Rumi's soul, and then that made her a whole human and him just dead. This is my biggest gripe with the story though, Because why is Rumi giving Genu a tearful send-off knowing that he's killed millions? And instead of addressing that and accepting that Genu betrayed her and lied to her throughout the entire film, it's a heartfelt send-off for her mourning his death. It doesn't make sense. He's killed. There's millions dead in Detroit. It still doesn't mean I didn't cry at this moment, but like millions are dead now because of them. And also, like, how did people not realize the Saja boys were evil or not human? Throughout the entire film, there are moments where they just straight up defy gravity or defy the laws of physics in general. The biggest one being the scene where they take over the Times Square area, say, hey, meet us at this tower. Like, how is he popping out of the screen here? It doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm going crazy. Now, this is probably the best time to talk about the characters, so let's just do that. We, of course, have Rumi, our main character, having the most conflict throughout the film. The other Huntrix girls, Zoe and Mira, have their own backstories too, of course. Zoe being an aspiring singer from Burbank, California, and Mira being the bad girl from a rich family. And then there's Bobby, the eccentric manager for the girls, and probably the most girly pop out of the group. And then we move on to the Saja boys, and you may be thinking like, oh, how are we gonna talk about their characters when they really don't have any personality because they were demons? And you'd be right, but it's more about what their characters represent rather than who their characters are. They represent K-pop idols and the dark sides of K-pop idols as a whole. For example, Abby, probably the second most popular Saja boy, Abby represents the over-sexualization of idols, specifically K-pop idols. Romance depicts the parasocial relationships that people develop for idols. Mystery represents the pressure that idols feel having to hide their true selves. And even Baby, the last Saja boy besides Genu, represents the infantilization of idols. Genu, aside from being the second most important character in the film, also can represent the idea of perfection for idols that they have to uphold and hide things away to keep that image up. Anyway, all the characters are fucking bangers, and we're going to talk about the casting for them now. Rumi is played by Arden Cho, her spoken voice, and then their singing voices have different singers. I think they're all K-pop singers. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, so Rumi's singing voice is EJ, who is a actual K-pop star. Zoe is played by Jiwon Woo, and Mira is played by Mei Hong, respectively. I'm sorry if I'm messing up these names, by the way. I do not speak Korean. All three of these actresses did an amazing job with their roles, and each capturing the essence of their characters with their voice acting. Genu's actor, An Hyo-sop, was also offered to become an actual K-pop star, but he declined it and is now a virtual hot guy. And there's a couple characters that I want to point out specifically because their casting is really funny. Guima is voiced by the frontman from Squid Game, Lee Byung-hun, and absolutely killed this role. It was so funny when I found this out. Bobby is voiced by the comedian and actor Ken Hyung. This guy.
Gay!
Or before the Huntrix girls get introduced to the Saja boys, they go to the doctor to help Rumi out and get some medicine for her. And the doctor is played by Daniel Dae Kim, aka the guy mogging on the Good Doctor in that one scene. I didn't realize this when I was making the script, but he plays both Dr. Han in both The Good Doctor and this movie, and that is so fucking funny, and it cannot be a coincidence. And finally, Abby Saja, or Ab Saja, is played by none other than Pro ZD himself, Sungwon Cho. But here's where I want to switch gears and talk about the animation, since holy shit, it's so fucking peak. I mentioned before, but the animation studio also worked on the Spider-Verse movies, and it shows within this film. The animation style taken it's so jaw-dropping, because what do you mean it can go from like some of the goofiest, silliest faces to ever exist to some of the most jaw-dropping shots just for the awe-inspiring, bring a tear to the eye moments. All the animation in the movie is absolutely amazing, and the choreography for both fights and just in general is like the perfect eye candy for me, which this is where I'd throw the obvious eye candy joke throughout the entire film. And that's a perfect tie to the soundtrack and songs from the film. It should be pretty self-explanatory, but every song in K-pop Demon Hunters is a K-pop song. And as someone who listens to a lot of K-pop specifically because of one Overwatch collab, I can confidently say that every single song in the film is an absolute banger. Which there isn't a lot for it being a K-pop movie, to be honest though. There's 12 songs in the soundtrack and 3 of which are played over the credits. Instead of making this film a musical, it instead focuses more on the story and what it's trying to tell, with musical numbers being for plot relevance. And it isn't just me saying this, because when the film first released, the soundtrack placed number 2 on the Billboard Top 200, and a couple weeks after its release, aka around the time I'm recording and editing this, it's still having songs placed higher than some of the biggest artists in the world. There's one song in particular though that I want to talk about, and that song is Your Idol, sung by the Saja Boys whenever they're trying to capture a bunch of souls at once. This song feels like the perfect commentary on how K-pop stars keep their fans obsessed with their music, and I mean it literally is that. The opening chorus has words spoken in Latin, which when translated say, "The day of wrath will turn you into ashes, cursed master into eternal flames." Then it actually goes into the song where the first line is keeping you in check, keeping you obsessed. Kind of seems to me like they're trying to keep their fans obsessed. I don't know if you realize that. And I won't analyze the entire song, just if you give it a listen on yourself, listen to the lyrics and how it could be about fans obsessing about idols who don't even acknowledge their own existence. Or in the context of this movie, will literally sacrifice them to a big giant wall god. Your Idol is immediately contrasted by the next song performed by Rumi and the Girls of Huntrix, where they stop hiding their truths and come clean about who they are and that they don't want to hide who they are anymore. And this somehow is the most tear-jerking moment this is somehow the most tear-jerking song throughout the entire film. And that's about all my thoughts on K-pop Demon Hunters. It's definitely one of my favorite films in recent years for pretty much everything I listed in this video. The story, while feeling a bit rushed for an hour and a half, was fantastic, and the animation had me busting or something. I don't know. I couldn't think of a good analogy for this. The songs have that same repeatability that every good musical should have, even though I didn't call this a musical earlier. It has the same repeatability that every good musical should have, letting you relive the moments of the film through the soundtrack instead of just having to rewatch it. But by far, the biggest problem with this movie is that it wasn't set in 2012 when Psy released Gangnam Style, or, literally any Bruno Mars song to be ever released. Anyway, jokes aside, I love the movie and would absolutely love a second one because I love the cast of characters that much. There were talk from the co-director about how we could do a second one because we don't know how they got to be K-pop demon hunters in the first place. So there might be a whole other story about that. But knowing Netflix, there's probably going to be a second one just to be a cash grab. And I don't know what else to say about this, so that's all I got. I'll see you in the next one. And that's a fucking wrap.